let's talk about Monday Night Raw from Mario, Scotland, March the 24th, 2024. That very annoying man by the name of Pat McAfee was wearing a kilt. I want to shoot Pat McAfee into the goddamn Atlantic Ocean. I promise I do. Let's get into this show because Scotland spent a lot of money on these tickets. So let's see what they got. So they got John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. He comes out and he has another very long promo where he yells at the audience. I'm going to truncate this because I don't want to be here all day. He said that he put some pathetic kid on blast last week and the fans loved it. They said they had the nerve to meme and mock a kid because the fans are horrible people. He said he found a way to make them pay for the 25 years of bullying and meanness that he has gotten from them. And he said he learned this from watching. He watched the fans for 25 years. He learned all about you. He's been testing you. It's been an experiment. And what he found out is, in April of 2005, the WWE fans care so much about their beloved WWE Championship. When he turned it into a spinner belt, he turned it into a toy, the fans felt disrespected. And he realized that is what means the most to them. And he says he's going to take it and retire with it and ruin wrestling for everyone. Then he says he's going to be the only and last real champion of WWE. Let's talk about this because it took a lot to get this out. And I'm still not feeling the John Cena heel turn. It still feels meta. Like, it's hard for me to put in words why I don't like it. But there's something in my stomach that makes me not like this. Right? And when I first started doing this channel and I really started picking up steam, I talked about characters, and somebody like John Cena being like a Superman or a Captain America. And over the course of time, I think I've said this maybe a couple of times now, the desire to corrupt the incorruptible hero has been such a staple in the culture that it actually felt decent for WWE to have a superhero character that the kids can believe in that has not been corrupted. And then they went and did it because all of the neckbeards who are 42 years old or 36 or whatever decided that they have to see this as it's like, I just thought about it sucks that John Cena comes out and yells at the audience for his last run. This is the last time he's going to be in Scotland. And he's coming out talking about how he's going to ruin wrestling for everybody. It's like, for starters, it's kind of Cobra Commander cartoonish. Nobody really believes it. So that's already a problem. And then the second element is that really what we want for the last time John Cena is going to be in Scotland? Screw you guys. I'm going to take this championship away from you. For his last run? Nah. It doesn't sit right with me on multiple levels. But the number one reason why it doesn't sit right with me is I feel like this is the neckbeards getting what they want. And I'm not sure it's serving the story. I'm not it's there to help Cody. That's the reason why this whole thing exists. Everybody should know that by now. John Cena is leaving. His retirement is for real. He's leaving. He wants to leave Cody with the goodwill, right? He wants Cody to be the babyface. He doesn't want to interject on Cody's, babyfaceness. Now, it may have been smarter just to do this for John Cena to wrestle as John Cena in the first match and then turn heel after maybe losing at WrestleMania, turning heel, getting a rematch at Backlash, and winning it then. Then you could maybe you had your special John Cena versus Cody Rhodes match, and Cody went over, and this is kind of the best of John Cena. And then John Cena say, hey, I want a rematch. And Cody's like, oh, well, great. Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a rematch. And then John Cena turns heel. I'm just trying to come up with ideas that would have probably made this feel better. But even then, I probably still wouldn't have liked it. And then, like, to have him yelling at the crowd, still not addressing The Rock, still not really addressing why Cody had to be the one to take the brunt of this. Still no conversation about why he was hanging out with Travis Scott. Did he drink Terramana with The Rock? Because if you drink Terramana with The Rock, he's going to talk about it. You know, I mean, anytime he goes on television, we and you are good friends, sat around in my trailer, drank a whole lot of Terramana. You're like, yeah, okay, Rock, thanks. I need to know you drink Terramana with everybody, from the comic book guys to the wrestling guys to the movie guys to the union bosses. We get it, all right. But none of that stuff was addressed. None of the actual elements of the turn are addressed. Why Cody? Why did it have to be against Cody? Right now, we're establishing that John Cena is bitter towards the fans. And the idea that he's going to ruin wrestling, I don't know what that means. You know, what does it mean? The idea that he wants to take the title because the fans care about it, okay, fair enough. But the idea he's going to retire with it, okay, okie dokie. But they'll just create another belt. You know, maybe he should just say he's going to take this belt and make a spinner belt out of it. Or, you know, wait till you see, you didn't like the spinner belt, wait till you see what I do with this one. You know, and, you know, basically tease that you're going to defile this belt somehow. You know, like there's, you know, a lot of things I guess you could do since we're already here. But these Cena promos they're not hitting for me, man. To me, it feels like John Cena is playing a heel character. I think I finally have put it out the way that I want it. It doesn't feel genuine, right? This doesn't feel like John Cena. It feels like this is all the shit John Cena has wanted to say, but he doesn't really care about this stuff. But he knows that you do, right? Everybody has wanted him to be fake. Everybody has wanted him to be insincere his entire career. Because they don't believe in genuine good guys. They think everybody's a phony and a fake. Nobody can be, you know, an actual good person. Everybody's a piece of shit some way. We just have to dig deep enough. And that's pretty much what they're doing with John Cena. Is they're going to keep digging and digging and digging until they finally found something that they can boo him about. But right now, there's nothing to boo him about. He spent years upon years getting booed by these same people who are now still rocking his merchandise and cheering when his theme song plays. And then he comes out there and he feels like he's playing a character. When John Cena really is in his groove, he feels natural. This doesn't feel natural. This feels it's not quite as cringe as, you know, 2010 John Cena, where he was like super uber babyface. And it's not as cringe as that, but it's almost just as cringe for me. I'm not feeling it. This is the second promo, man. And I think the first one was a little bit better. So Cody comes out and says that John Cena got to get the belt from him first. And then he says he thinks John Cena is sincere. I don't. He says that he fought valiantly to get that title one time just to validate one name. And he says that he's not going to let John Cena take this belt. And then he says that if you want to take it, and he put it on the floor, and he says, come fight me for it, come take it. Cena walks away. And then Cody missed a grand opportunity to say the champ is not right there, the champ is here. He missed the opportunity to say it. He said the champ is in this ring. It's like, why didn't you just say the champ is here? That's you missed it. You whiffed that one. That was a perfect setup for you to say, you know, you're not the champ. The champ is here. You know, like that would have been better. But whatever. I'm still not feeling this feud. You know, this is kind of like, you ever tried to start a barbecue and fail? You know, you got all your charcoal put together in one spot. The way they tell you to do it on the bag, you know. Put a little lighter fluid on there. You light your match or your whatever, and you put it on there, and you get a little smoke going. Get a little smoke going, get a little fire going, but then it doesn't build the way you want it to. So you probably put a little lighter fluid on it, and it builds and builds a little bit, but then it kind of goes out. You're not really sure. You have to, the science of fire in order to get this shit to actually work. That's what this feud feels like. It's like there's some embers there. There's some small embers of heat in this feud. But they want John Cena to be this super menacing, Skeletor-like heel. And it ain't clicking. It ain't clicking with me, man. He's whiffing. And I can't wait till it's over. This sucks. I can't wait for this to be over. And maybe I'm the only one on the internet that thinks so, but I can't wait for this shit to be done. I need him to win the title, carry it for a couple of months, and then lose it back to Cody. Because this shit needs to end. And we need to get the ball rolling. The Usos defeated A-Town Down Under. I'm not going to pretend that I sat and watched this whole match. Jey Uso teamed with Jimmy. And Jimmy came out to Jay's theme. He was yeeting and everything. After they beat A-Town Down Under, the match was probably too damn long, considering that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller stood no chance of winning. Later, they were sitting on the steps with Jimmy and Jay talking. And Jimmy says that Yeet Man Jey Uso can't win. He's got to be the right-hand man. He's got to be main event Jey Uso. It's like, how many times are we going to tell these guys, I want to see this different version of you. I want to see that different version of you. Because Jay is starting to doubt himself. He slipped in the ring in a brawl with Gunther. One of his endless brawls with Gunther. He actually slipped in the ring, which I'm going to assume he was supposed to slip, because I can't imagine that he actually slipped on purpose. I can't imagine he's that bad off. But then again, ain't no telling when it comes to drunk Uncle Jay. So Jay is all fired up. Jimmy goes and challenges Gunther. Gunther jokes about Jay falling over, and Jimmy smacked him. And then Gunther did nothing. He didn't. Jimmy Uso smacked him hard as shit in the face. And Gunther just took it. That's strange. That's very strange. Why would you do that? Why would you smack your world champion in the face? And then he didn't. Like, I know he's going to win the match next week and everything, and that's supposed to be all hunky-dory. But no, you're just not going to smack my world champion in the face. Even though he's a heel. I'm not just going to smack my heel world champion in the face in the middle of a hallway. And then there's no security or anybody there to stop it. Gunther should have just really mauled Jimmy right there. Just done Jimmy dirty right there. But I don't know why they're doing that. Anyway, Judgment Day is still having problems. Dominic is disappointed that Finn Balor lost. Carlito wants to challenge for the IC title too. Dominic was told by Liv to get Penta into Judgment Day. Finn Balor doesn't want to hear anything about that. He's not around, though. Dominic tries. He goes to talk to Penta about joining the Judgment Day, but Penta doesn't respond. The main event of the show, Braun Breaker defeats Penta by disqualification because the Judgment Day interfered. Basically, Carlito and Dominic, they jumped Braun Breaker. This match was pretty solid. There was a gorilla press gut buster by Braun Breaker that was nutty onto Penta. Also, I think Penta did a really cool backcracker on here too. They did some good stuff, while they had time. After Dominic and Carlito jumped Braun, Finn Balor came in with a chair and helped them. They all beat the hell out of Braun Breaker, who I'm guessing is a babyface now after being a heel for weeks. Then Dominic offers the chair to Penta. He's yelling at Penta in Spanish to hit Braun Breaker with the chair. Instead, Penta throws the chair to Dominic, who holds it up to his face like an idiot so that Penta can kick it. Then Judgment Day beat up Penta too. So, yes sir, they're building some kind of multiple man match for WrestleMania. I'm oozing with excitement for more fatal four-ways and triple threats. What can I say, man? At least Penta's going to be on the card. I guess. I mean, are they going to try to squeeze Dominic into that thing too? Like, what is this thing going to be? You know, I'm hoping it's not a 22-man ladder match. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal ladder match. You know, there's 30 guys, one title. I'm not a fan. People have already compared this show to WrestleMania 2000. And anybody who has been listening to my show knows that WrestleMania 2000 was the high point. That was the breaking point for me. Like, I already was kind of off watching wrestling in 99. But WrestleMania 2000, that was it. I was done for it. I hate that show so much. I don't know what to do. It's not the worst WrestleMania of all time. It's really not. But at that point in my life, I was like, fuck this. and I was kind of done, right? Yeah, and this is looking quite a bit like it's going to be a whole lot of multiple man matches, which I'm not a fan of. Lyra Valkyria defeated Raquel Rodriguez. Then she got jumped by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez after the match. Lyra Valkyria won with a victory roll, just a straight up wrestling move. In this match, Lyra Valkyria got kicked in the chest. She jumped off the top rope right into a boot from Raquel Rodriguez, which was a pretty good bump. Raquel loses a lot for a giant. Anyway, Bayley saved Lyra from the beating, so I can see the vision. They're going to stick with it. Bayley and Lyra for the IC Women's title at WrestleMania. It's fine for a singles match. They're probably going to do some kind of pointless tag team contest within the next couple of weeks, just so Bayley and Lyra can get out of the way and maybe build some heat for their feud. Maybe they lose that match because Lyra and Bayley don't get on. Who knows? But hey, Raquel and Liv are the tag team champions, and the tag team division went in the toilet immediately afterwards, right? Moving on. There was a vignette for El Grande Americano, who say he's from the Gulf of America, a great lucha legend that was blackballed by his enemies. The ultimate luchador, back to revolutionize this great sport. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee watched the vignette and were disgusted. And Rey insists that this is Chad Gable. Chad Gable appears, says he's got a cold. Somebody made him sick. He's got a doctor's note. He can't wrestle Dragon Lee tonight, but suggests that El Gran Americano takes his place. But when he said I can't wrestle, I got a doctor's note, Rey said, that's fine. I'll see you in the parking lot. I'm like, damn, Rey. Sheesh. Filthy animal for real. God damn. You gonna shank him in the parking lot? This is NXT? Anyway, Dragon Lee accepted the match with El Grande Americano, leading to their match later tonight. El Grande Americano defeats Dragon Lee. This was a good match. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed everything about El Grande Americano. It's silly enough for me to have fun with. It has some references. You know, I like when people do fake backstories for characters, you know? Like, this is a silly backstory that puts him in, like, the 1920s or the 50s or whatever. Like, it's a really ridiculous vignette. It's too ridiculous to be real. The Gulf of America didn't even exist. So, it was a funny thing that it upset so many people. So, that part is my favorite part, is that a lot of people were upset, so I'm all about that. The match itself was pretty good. You had El Grande Americano actually using some luchador moves. He did one of Mil Mascaras' flying headbutts, you know, which is really great. Like, this could be a love letter to the character, to Lucha Libre, if you wanted it to be. It's a parody, much like Nacho Libre and 100,000 other Mexican themed characters with lucha masks and everything. But I don't know. It's up to you whether you want to be offended or not. But we certainly got marked tiers to go through for this. Dragon Lee was doing fine until Americano grabbed his mask and snatched it off. And then he tapped out to the ankle lock. So you can't beat them, join them. Chad Gable could not defeat luchadors until he became a luchador himself. But this match was great. Dragon Lee, I love this guy. You know, he's tremendous. But Chad Gable is tremendous as well. Dragon Lee allowed Chad Gable to T-bone suplex him off the ring apron onto the floor. All right. That was nasty. That looked like it hurt like hell. It looked like it hurt like a bitch. What a spot. You got to give him a whole lot of credit for that spot alone. So, Chad Gable has found the secret sauce to defeating Mexicans and snatching off their masks, which every other Mexican already knows. You tear at the mask, you pull at the mask, you do whatever you can to the mask, and the guy will basically throw the match in order to save his mask. It happens on pretty much every AAA CMLL show. I mean, guys always snatching at that mask. Next, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley have a segment. Adam Pearce is trying to make sense of everything, but the girls don't want things to make sense. He's very stressed out, this Adam Pearce. You know, these girls are cackling hens, and they're getting on his last nerve. Rhea Ripley wants her rematch. Bianca wants Rhea Ripley to have to wait for her rematch because she's the number one contender. Io voluntarily says she'll fight both of them. That's dumb. And she's the only one that's getting like real babyface pops because Rhea and Bianca are both, you know, bickering and crying. So Adam Pearce decides to split the baby. He's going to give Rhea her rematch, but it's going to be next week. Bianca doesn't like that. Io doesn't care. And then later on, Bianca says, "Who is my opponent for WrestleMania?" And then Adam Pearce says, "I set the match for next week, so we'll find out next week." And then said that Bianca is going to be the referee for that match. Basically, he's going to give Bianca the power to create her own opponent. She's going to get to choose who her opponent is going to be. The interesting bit here is I've really been loving very frustrated Adam Pearce because he's been saying to these people, "Happy Monday, drive safe." That was funny as hell. That was another thing that popped me on this show. El Grande Americano popped me, and Adam Pearce telling Bianca Belair to get out of his office and drive safe. That popped me. So they've been teasing that Bianca's going to turn heel. They've been teasing this going back to the Naomi storyline, where she didn't do anything to help Naomi or Jade. She basically just turned her back on both of them. And ever since she put on that white coat, that's been it. They've been like, "Oh, we don't like this bitch." Ever since they went over to Europe, they're like, "No, we don't like her." And then all the woke wrestling fans are like, "They're booing her because she's black." It's like, no, they're booing her because she's whining. They're booing her because she was in the way of the Rhea Ripley Io match, where she didn't have to be. You know, they're booing her because she's opposing Rhea, who everybody likes. And they also, in a way, she's opposing and disrespecting Io, who a lot of people like and respect. And she's kind of cocky, kind of confrontational. There's a lot of stuff going on here with Bianca, and it's slowly but surely corrupting the audience reaction to her. And it's unfortunate, but this is what happens when you keep going with shades of gray. And what's going on with Bianca is the exact same issue I have with John Cena. It's a little bit more believable with Bianca because it's tinges of how her character was in NXT. But I just don't see the need for her to be a heel. I mean, she's another aspirational babyface that is being put in a position where essentially she's a complainer and a whiner, and it's not necessary. I mean, her match at WrestleMania is guaranteed. Why does she care about whether it's Rhea or Io? Like, why does she have to be involved at all? You know? Like, this whole thing literally doesn't make any sense from the Bianca Belair perspective. she could just sit at ringside and do nothing. Her match is the same, regardless of whether she gets involved or not. And then you got Rhea Ripley, who's a big old baby, a big old brat, who lost the match because she was distracted, which was her own fault. It's her own fault she couldn't keep her shoulders off the mat. But she's complaining about Bianca. She wants to fight Bianca. And then you got poor little old Io, who is the purest babyface of them all because she's willing to fight both of them. She is, the undersized babyface. She is the underdog in a sense, considering she's willing to fight from underneath. She's the champion and she gets no respect. And it's like, none of this is necessary. You didn't need to turn Rhea heel. People liked her, respect her. They're not going to boo her anyway. And now all you've done is turn Rhea into somebody people don't like and turn Bianca into somebody don't like, a person people don't like. So how is this storyline going to work here? That's the thing about three-way feuds. You got to have a babyface and a heel. You can't have all these gray blobs. People are not going to care. Who should the fans want to win this match? They got three options now. Each girl has their own fan base. The Gooners want Rhea to win. So, I mean, it don't matter, man. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I don't like triple threat matches. I don't want them. They don't serve any purpose. They got one shot to avoid this triple threat match, and that is for Bianca to pin somebody's shoulders clean to the mat next Monday and get them out of the conversation. But if they do something stupid like Rhea beats Io, and then Io says, I want a rematch, then we're back in this same position. So the only way to get out of this position is for Bianca to job Rhea out and end that conversation. But then if she does that, then it's guaranteed a triple threat match. So it's going to be a triple threat match anyway. So we're stuck with what we're stuck with. CM Punk, he's about to come out to talk about his triple threat match. And this was all hot air. There's another promo with nothing behind it because the other parties were not there. So Punk says that he's not getting what he wants at WrestleMania. Or he says, or am I? He then says that he works with children. Seth Rollins screwed him at the Royal Rumble, screwed him at Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins is living in his shadow. So for Seth Rollins, it's personal. For Roman Reigns, this is personal because Heyman isn't just Roman's wise man. But for Punk, it's just business. He's going to beat these two guys because it gets him closer to what he wants. He wants to be the WWE champion or the main event WrestleMania, one or the other. And he says that he wants to look at this contract because he wants to see if it's going to get him what he wants. And he can't wait to sign it. But he says before then he wants Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to know two things. One, neither one of them have defeated him without the other person's help because they can't. And two, he brought them into this business and he can't wait to take them out. This was much like Seth Rollins' promo last week where he came out to promo SmackDown. You guys should watch SmackDown for what's going to happen next. Thanks. I guess Scotland got to see your face. For Christ's sake. Look, man. I don't know what that bald idiot is doing up in Stanford, man, but he needs to stop it. He's got to do better than this. This is embarrassing. He's out of ideas. That's where all these triple threat ideas come from. He doesn't want to cut people from the show, but he's got to. You got to make the tough decisions. You already got people sitting on the bench that are very talented people sitting on the bench. I mean, WrestleMania is 2 nights. You have a whole lot of opportunities. You don't need. I'm guessing he wants to have short cards. 5 or 6 matches on both shows. That's a mistake. You're probably gonna need an 8-match show on both shows, maybe. That's still a lot. But then again, he wants to have every match be 15, 20 minutes too. So, and then with all the commercials and everything, we'll be here all goddamn night. So maybe not. But the idea that Triple H is going to try to squeeze every single person on the roster into the show, that's his personal problem. That's the way he chooses to book the show. You know, we keep telling him you can have more than 5 matches on the show. You can have more than 8. You can have 14 if you want. I wouldn't suggest that's way too many. But I think a solid 7 on each show should get you most of the characters that you want on the program. It gives you all of your most important characters featured on the show. And if you want to have 1 or 2 multiple man matches, a triple threat match here or there, then, you know, for one of the mid-card belts or something, that could work. But these triple threat match among main event guys for no reason, that's why I'm thinking Punk's about to try to put something in this contract to spice it up. They're probably going to make it a number 1 contenders match, which might set up John Cena's first, and I'm going to assume John Cena's going to win the belt, his first opponent at Backlash, which should be CM Punk. So more than likely, you're going to look at CM Punk pinning Seth Rollins in the match, going on to wrestle John Cena at Backlash. But even if that's the case, I still don't like it because this is WrestleMania, and you should not be doing, oh, this is a number 1 contenders match at WrestleMania. What the fuck? We should already have contenders and stuff set up by this point in time. So, again, another bland show. You got some good stuff there with Penta and Braun for a little bit. You got some good stuff with El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee. But that's pretty much it. The rest of this show was New Day wanting a shot at the titles and Logan Paul calling out AJ Styles and a bunch of horse shit featuring promo segments and or, you know, women who aren't over, like Lyra and Raquel. Yeah, who cares? But this show has not been good in months and months. So I don't know what's going on. They said that there's the same amount of people watching Raw now than was watching it on USA, which is not good because you more than quadrupled the amount of people who have access to the product. And if the same amount of people is watching it, then I can guarantee you that should be considered a failure for Netflix. You know I wouldn't be paying you $5 billion to get the same amount of people that you can get on USA Network. But I don't know nothing about this. I also saw that they say Vince still watches this shit. I know he probably sits back and laughs. Like, yeah, it wasn't as easy as it was when you were sitting next to me, was it? You thought it was easy, huh? Booking everybody and managing all these personalities. You like, I got this. I'm ready for this, old man. I can handle this. Look how hard it is to book one WrestleMania and you got 2 damn nights to do it. You got 2 nights to book and you're dropping the ball on both of them. Oh, well. But also, Gunther and Jey Uso, one of the worst WrestleMania feuds going. It might be one of the worst of all time, you know. But it's really not good. Again, there's so much on this show that's not good. But that's one of the very not good things because it's a focal point. And people need to... I'm well over the idea of complaining about Jey Uso. He's going to win the title, but he needs to lose it too. So I say he should win the belt and lose it in his first title defense, which should be the very next night. You know, well, he should win it on night 1, lose it on Monday after night 1. That's what I would do. Get it out of his hands as quickly as possible. But we got to get there. So we got to keep dragging ass through all these boring and bland episodes of Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later.
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.